Hey guys, welcome back. This is topic part 3 of MAOD5 final test review. So again, disclaimer, the numbers will probably differ from the test that you will take, but how you're going to do your test, how you're going to tackle each question will probably stay the same. So now we have number 11. On this video, we're going to go over 11 and to 15, and hopefully we go over this part really fast so you guys can go over topic 4. So now we have solving inequality. Again, solving inequality is basically the same thing how we solve equation. We want x, the variable, by itself. So how we do that? Well, first thing first, we need to simplify or combine like terms. Those are our first steps. So in this case, again, I might skip a few steps here and there, but I'll talk about how we're going to deal with it. So first thing first, simplify. What do I mean by simplify? And what I mean by that is we distribute. We're going to distribute 6 to both -7 and x, and you're going to get -42 plus 6x. When you distribute your left hand side, our inequality remains the same. We bring down 4, and now we distribute 3 to both 6 and x to get plus 18 plus 3x. And what you do is you combine like terms. In this case, what are like terms that we can combine? Is 4 and 18. We cannot combine -42 since it is on the other side of the inequality, and we cannot combine 6 and 3x since they're both opposite sides of the inequality. So now our new equation, if you combine the like terms, is -42 plus 6x is greater than or equal to 22 plus 3x. Now, what's the next step? Our next step is we want to eliminate smaller variable. In this case, what's the smaller variable? 6x or 3x? 3x. So we're going to eliminate 3x. But first, before we do some eliminating, we want to draw the line. So we know that once we do one thing on the left side, the right side, we do it on the left side, and anything we do on the left side, we do on the right side. This is just basically a quick reminder that, hey, you're doing this, so you have to do this. You also have to do that on this side. Now let's do some eliminating. Eliminate 3x. How do we eliminate 3x? We subtract 3x on the right side, and since we're doing it on the left, since this is like a mirror, we also have to subtract 3x on the left side. Oh, wrong number. Hence, when you solve it, you're going to get -42 plus 6x minus 3x is 3x is equal to, or not, greater than or equal to 22. Now what do we do? Now we want to eliminate the constant. So what's the constant? 22 or -42? -42, so we're going to add, so we're going to we need to undo that negative 42. To do so, we have to add 42. And since we're adding 42, you also have to add 42 on the right hand side. Hence, you're going to get 3x is greater than or equal to 64. Now, what's the next step? You eliminate the coefficient. To do so, you're going to multiply, divide both sides by 3. You're going to get x is greater than or equal to 64 over 3. The 3 comes down. Again, you guys don't have to change that to common mixed number, decimal. You can just leave it as a fraction. And your answer is x is greater than or equal to 64 over 3. If you didn't do this step, eliminate small variable, somewhere along the line you're going to get a negative 3x. And when you do, you have to flip the signs when you eliminate the coefficient negative 3, since you're going to divide by negative 3. In case you didn't know, when you divide or multiply by negative in an inequality, and you're solving an equation, and when you're solving it, you have to flip the sign. In this, you have to flip it so that it faces the other way. But in this case, since we're not dividing by negative, we just leave it as is. So pretty cool, right? Now let's move on. We have 12, evaluate negative 12, not negative 12, negative 2 times negative 6 times negative 6. So before we do anything, before we multiply or anything, is our answer going to be a positive or negative? We have how many negatives? 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 negatives. So that means our answer is something going to be negative. Negative times a negative, positive times a negative is negative. Again, just in case you didn't know, if you have odd numbers of negatives and you're multiplying, your answer is negative. If you have even number of negative, let's say this is a positive, you only have 2 negatives, your answer is positive. Even number of negatives, positive. Odd numbers of negative, negative. Now we're just going to multiply. Since we know the signs, we can just multiply the number as is. 2 times 6 times 6 is 36 times 2, 3, 4, 72. So it's basically 72. So our answer is negative 72. That's basically it. That's how you do 12. Pretty easy. Now let's do 13. Evaluate c squared plus 2cx minus x when c is equal to 8 and x is equal to 9. So what do? We have this a clue word, evaluate, and when we're dealing with variables and it has evaluate, we're going to replace the variable with the value given. Again, evaluate is basically just do it, just solve it, or just compute it. Basically, that's what it basically means. But when its variable is included, what we do is first thing first, rewrite the variable, rewrite the expression. Okay, so let's rewrite the expression. C is now 8, so now it's going to be 8, and then whatever is included with the C is still included, plus 2 is still there, C is now 8, and now what is X? X is 9, minus 9 squared. Now what do? We're going to do some germ tests. So 8 times 8 is 8. Let me find. What is 8 squared? 8 times 2? Yes, a quick reminder, 8 times 8 is 8 times 8 squared is 8 squared, which is 64, plus 2, 8, 9, and what is, first thing first, is the negative included with the 9 squared? No, so what we're going to just focus is what we're just going to focus is 9 squared, which is 81. So if, for instance, there's a negative in here, it's going to be negative 9 times negative 9, okay? But in this case, the negative is outside the parentheses, so we don't have to include that. And we multiply, so it's going to be minus 81. 9 squared versus 81. Now what do? Now that we're done with exponents, we do some multiplication. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 times 9 is 144 minus 81. Now we add 64 plus 144 is 208 minus 81 is 127. So just in case you didn't know, this is this, this is this, and this is this. 64, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 9. 9 squared is 81. Okay, just in case you got lost where 144 or 208 comes from. It's basically here. We multiplied it in one go, 2 times 8 times 9, which is 144. Now let's do some. Let's do 14. So there's two options. We'll do the first option, which is the easiest one most of the time. And this is what I want you guys to do on your test. You're going to multiply this by 100%. So it's 18 over 25 times 100%. Okay, now what do? Well, can we multiply it already? No. So first thing first, you need to change 100% to a fraction, and to do so we just add 1. So it's going to be 100 over 1, and we're just going to ignore the percent later on. You're going to treat the percent like a variable. So now we can multiply 18 over 25 times 100 over 1. We can combine that into one fraction. 18 times 100 on the top and 25 times 1 on the bottom. Now, is there any common factor we can simplify? Any numbers we can simplify? Yes, we can. 25 is 1 and 100 is 4. Is there any more? No. So we can just multiply across. 18 times 4 is, and we'll put in 72 over 1, and then you don't forget your percent. 72 over 1%, or essentially 72%. So that's how you do 14. Just multiply it by 100%. That's the easiest one. And if you get a fraction, that's okay. I'll take it for 14 because it's, as long as you have a percent sign, I'm good with it. Whether it's a decimal or a fraction, I'm good with it. But if there's no percent, then I'm not good with it. Since we're asking a percent, you have to show that this is a percent, okay? Now let's do number 15. 31 is 10% of what number? So in this case, this is a bit difficult if you don't know what to do. But good thing is I taught you guys a good way to do this kinds of problem. It's part over base is equal to percent over 100. That's basically it. It can be percent over 100 equals part over base. But the thing is, as long as the part is on the top and base is on bottom of L and percent and then 1 over 100, your equation is pretty good. As long as they're separated by an equal sign. So what do we do with this? Well, part is essentially the number that is next to or near is, and base is the number next to of. Percent is percent, 100 is 100. So now what we're going to do is we're going to replace all the things we can with the numbers given to us. So now let's replace it. Let's start replacing. It's still going to be 100 here. So let's start with 31. 31 is, so that means it's near part. So it's going to be on the top. and 10% is a percentage, so that means it's going to be right here. And then of what number? So our missing number is of our base, so that means that's our x. Now what do we do? Hey, that's a proportion. This is like topic number 10 on the previous video. What we do is cross multiply. And that gives us first thing first, instead of cross multiply, let's do something easy and simplify. This, let's use a different number. Let's use green. This becomes 1 and this becomes 10. Way easier, right? Now what we have is 30. Let's draw an arrow. So now we have 31 over x is equal to 1 over 10. So now that's a bit easier to multiply. Again, this is still okay, but if you want, you can simplify things. Now we cross multiply. So cross multiply. How do we cross multiply? We're going to multiply the right denominator with the left numerator, and we're going to multiply the left denominator with the right numerator. Did I just repeat myself? Anyway, you get the idea. Multiply 31 with 10, you multiply 1 with x. Now you're going to get 31 times 10 is equal to 1 times x. So far so good. Now 31 times 10 is going to give you what? 310. And what is 1 times x? X, right? So that means 310 is equal to x. So that's all you can, that's everything we can do. 31 equals x. That's our final answer. Do we need percent? Nope, since we're not asking for what percent, we don't need to put the percent. We just put x is equal to 310. And that's all we do for part 3. Good luck. I'll see you in part 4.